So, I think, you have a minute.
Oh, so yeah, Kim is not gonna be here today, so
Okay.
I'll just run the meeting.
Okay.
And then, we can, if you call me to order, I can establish a quorum and.
That sounds terrific, thank you. All righty. So I guess we're ready. It's 3 o'clock and all is well. Okay. All right. Okay, it looks like we have a quorum.
Well, I can call roll first.
Okay, that sounds good.
Mayor Short? Here. Deb Wolf-Fivas? Here. Randy Collins?
Here.
Chair King?
Yes.
And Karen Edgerton? Okay, everyone's here, you have quorum.
Thank you so much, I appreciate that. And so, in the, agenda, it appears as though we're going to talk about the March 10th minutes. I don't know that I got those. Did those go out?
So Kim was working on them. I can go check real quick and see if she's
Okay.
got
All
them
right,
for
thank you.
Yeah, I couldn't find them on the website either, so I couldn't, yeah.
Let me just go
Oh,
check
okay.
real quick, if that's okay.
Right.
I'm gonna say I haven't looked them over, and that's probably why.
That's a
Yeah,
really good reason, Randy.
yeah, I can't come up with some excuse, well, what a gorgeous day it's
Oh,
turning
yeah.
out.
Great.
It's miserable this morning.
I know.
How was your trip?
It was
Yes.
really good. Was good. I had never driven the gorge.
Oh,
you're
Oh,
kidding.
wow.
Oh,
And
it's beautiful.
I just couldn't, it's much more spectacular than the Grand
You
Canyon.
haven't seen the Multnomah Falls?
I haven't seen, so now I
Oh,
have.
really? Oh.
I've done all that now.
So
I'm
did you
glad.
see Mount Rainier? Was it clear? when
And
you-
so, no, I didn't see it, it wasn't clear. Well, I don't know, I didn't see it. What I feel is trying to take a picture of, things like, so there's a barge going up the Columbia, and there's a train on the Washington side, and there's a train on the Oregon
Oh
side.
my God.
And then there is so many 18-wheelers that I wanted to take a picture of Commerce PNW. I mean, so obvious, like it was like,
Yeah.
stuff like that was what I was.
Okay, Gina, what did you find out?
The agenda will need to be amended, so the minutes, we'll give you 2 sets next time, the minutes are not ready, so we'll amend the agenda, and then next time we'll have 2 sets.
Okay, a suggestion that I'm going to have for Kim, and I, since she's not here, I'll just announce it. I really don't mind doing the agenda, outright the minutes, if she would like for me to take over that, because I write detailed notes.
That's my job.
It's your job? Okay, well, I'm just saying, that I'd be happy to do it in case.
I'm
y'all
happy to
need
do it and get paid.
That sounds good. All right, sounds good, thank you. And, let's see. Okay, so we have no guest presentations. And, does the committee members have any announcements or comments? I don't either. Okay, that sounds good. So old business, community awareness event. And, so Kim was going to talk to us about, we had originally talked about about this committee getting involved with the, evacuation plan, and I believe that the city council is going to take that over. Do you know much about that, Gina? If you don't, okay. So that's at least what she said to me, that that's something that would have to go to the city council first, and for us just to hold off on that. Possibly we can make recommendations about.
Are you
the
talking
future.
about the tsunami evacuation
Mhm.
drill?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, I believe that is something you'll need to go to city council for.
Yes, that's what she explained to me.
Yeah,
And she was calling it a plan. She says it's not really a drill, it's a plan, and to use that verbiage for
oh,
that.
okay.
Okay. All righty.
I
And,
didn't, is that just something that came up during the, comments? Okay,
Yeah.
are we on to old business now?
well, the committee's not going to be involved at this point, something that she wants to talk to city council about it. And from what I understand from talking to Kim, she said that the county may even be involved in a larger type of plan.
Oh, I was actually just referring to the agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry, what would you say?
I was just wondering, are we on to old business now?
We are now.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Okay, let's see,
So are we talking about the evacuation plan right now?
we are,
Okay, great.
and so all I'm saying is that Kim said that the city council will be more or less in charge of that at this time.
Okay, so Depoe Bay was the part, and it's actually, those beginning meetings are posted on the website under emergency preparedness. The 549 and 522 are both posted there, those meeting minutes, or those meetings are actually there, you can watch them. Because I went to try and get some clarity where that information is. I guess I need further clarity. That Depoe Bay evacuation plan that was provided by the university has some very specific things that they're suggesting that the city of Depoe Bay follow through with. And so we got that report in January, and I'm feeling somewhat, I'm feeling that we should be looking at it as a group sooner than later, because here it is May. So we had information from this consult about what they recommended that the city of Depoe Bay do. And I feel like it's, that one thing we were going to do today was have a workshop specifically about looking at that document. That got pulled, and now I'm asking for clarity on who is going to actually make sure that this report is actually looked at. And Mayor, I believe that was some things that I heard you say at the last meeting.
To review it with this committee, but I guess that's not gonna happen.
But that's what, right, so I just need clarity on, if we're
Well-
acting in the stead of the city of Depoe Bay as their emergency preparedness committee. And if this isn't in our hands to look at, I need clarity as to why that is and to who is looking at it. Because we're at May.
The only clarity I can give you is, secondhand from Kim,
Gotcha.
that she's going to talk to the city council.
Gotcha, and I know her name is on it, I know that
Yeah.
she's on the first page,
That's
so I
true,
understand.
so Randy and I even got together and came up with some ideas about if it was this committee, what we could do. And, then Kim said, no, that's really something, that's a larger type of situation. County has some involvement in it, I'm not sure what, but I do know that I finally talked to Tillamook representative, and that it wasn't a Tillamook event, it was a Tillamook County event. And so that might be very similar to what the county's doing.
Understand.
Yes, and
It specifically calls out in that document, it specifically calls out the city of Depoe Bay. It calls out the
So I
county.
can clarify for you a little bit.
Okay, great.
So I do recall last time you guys met, there was a little bit of discussion about this, and I
Right.
remember what Kim said was that, the nature of that document is geared more towards public works. So we're talking about the city as a whole, meaning the leadership of the city of Depoe Bay. So Brady would need to be involved in those discussions
Absolutely.
as his public works director.
Right.
And the committee, I believe, is welcome to make recommendations to the city council.
Absolutely.
Ultimately, decisions will fall to the city council.
Exactly.
So if you're wondering who that would be, it would be leadership here. It'd be Paul, Brady, Kim, would bring that information to the city council, forward.
And I did understand it that way,
So-
and it would be, and that's great. So thanks for saying what's in my head, which I thought we were meeting between 2 and 3 today with this committee so they could take those recommendations. I felt that that's why we thought we were having a workshop. I felt like that's what that was decided. From 2 to 3, we would look at that document because we've never looked at it as a group, and that they would be present. So
when, I think there was just, it was not
it's
clear.
fine,
It was
okay,
not
that's
clear.
great.
When Randy and I looked at the document, it's like 40 pages, I
Yes.
believe. And then on page 20, they give you like 3 scenarios. And the one that we looked at, it's recommended if this particular committee took it over, it would be really easy. It would not be very, here's your map, this is where you go, this is what time you go.
So would we do an evacuation drill?
Yeah, and
right.
so, I think that, the county, has larger plans.
Perfect.
But I'm not sure what they are.
Gotcha. Anyway, so I guess all I'm saying, all I would like in the minutes is I'm aware that this document has been circulating since January. That it was, it was supposedly supposed to be finished last fall and then it didn't happen until December. We're now a year. First time we met the people that were putting that together was last May 9th. And so we're a year in, and I just don't want it to ever look like this committee wasn't trying to do something with that document. And so that's all I want to be
Oh,
sure.
I don't think that that would ever
Oh,
be,
who knows what people would,
well,
who
you
knows?
know,
Who knows what would come up? I just want it in the minutes that we would love to be a part of whatever's happening with that document.
What might help me, for the record, what is your question?
My question is,
How would you like me to, what is your question?
my question would be, as there is a task force, and I think we should call it that, because that was such a great word that you guys came up with the energy thing. That if it's, that a task force with the people that you just talked about who are impacted by this, that a task force be formed to actually look at that document. My question would be, is that not a prudent solution to us dealing with that document? And that task force then could help this committee make that evacuation drill. And that task force could come up with those things that are very directed at the city to
I
do.
don't understand why we're not looking at it, I just don't understand it.
I don't either, but I would like to clarify though, or build on what you're saying. If it's not going to be us, I would like to ask city council the when, who, when and who. When is it gonna be addressed? And who's gonna be involved in that, knowing that this committee would be happy to be a part of that
Right.
and would actually
Right.
fall under our thing,
Thanks, Gina, thanks for asking for clarification, because I think that's the
but I
question right there.
wanna know when and who.
well, and then I think because we are not, quote, in charge of this, it's a city council, I don't wanna take it over.
Oh, right, oh no, that's not what I was asking either.
You know, because we can give our recommendations and give you what Randy and I came up with as sort of a plan, give it to the city council, we can help and assist, but I don't think we should look at in managing it
Got
in any way.
Sure, if they, because they don't see it that way, so that's fine. No, I don't need to manage it either. I do need to know when and who,
Mm-hmm,
and then we're happy to be a part of how.
okay.
I can't answer exactly all the reasons why, the work session that you thought was gonna happen today. I do know that Brady is at a short school today, for certifications. He's not even available today.
Sure,
So, he wouldn't have been here to,
sure,
with the discussion.
and he's a major player.
And
Sure,
also,
absolutely.
and the supervisor, Paul, is also out, and so with those two key players gone,
Then what would
I
you
don't think that there would be point to that.
Totally, that's great clarification, thank you.
But, yeah, but I took your questions,
Perfect.
and I'll bring it forward.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Gina. It just feels like it's an elephant in the room and it's sitting in front of us with some marching orders, and I just feel like we need to go forward, yeah.
So under community awareness events discussion, I put this under that particular heading, because Deb, you had some ideas or concerns, I guess, about talking to local businesses.
Oh, okay,
You know,
no,
how-
we don't talk about it here?
Yeah, how are we gonna do that? What's the plan?
Great.
Do we have a plan?
Yeah, right, okay, thanks for putting it there,
Mhm.
appreciate that. Okay, so here was so I always have a story. So here's what brought this to fore for me, even though it's always been in my head because I wanted to work with Worldmark and attempting to, although they have lost their head of steam with the transitions going on there, and obviously Madeline's not here and she was always going to be here. So I mean, I don't know how committed they are to this process. And so I'm down shopping, down on the wall, and I've gotten to know Bridget, who's the owner of Oceanography, and now she owns another one down there, and she goes, hey, because I met her when I first moved here. How's it going? What are you doing? I said, it's great, and I got involved with the Orange Parents. Oh, that's right. So I said, so what would you do? She goes, oh, well, first we hear the chimes, and I said, and she goes, you know what, we haven't heard a drill in a couple of years. I'm like, that's not what you're gonna wait for. And so I took a minute, but I do know that she's working, there's people in the store, and we were being careful. Because she's a business person and she's not trying to scare anybody that's in there. When they did leave the room, I said, so all you're waiting for is the shake, Bridget. You don't need to hear anything. The shake's gonna knock you on your butt It's gonna knock you on your butt, so you're gonna know you need to take everybody with you. And you're gonna need to head to Commons, and that's where you're gonna walk to high ground, and you're gonna do that fast, because you probably have 12 to 15 minutes. Not waiting for you, so, oh, do people know this? And I'm like,
Are you kidding me? I got goosebumps.
And
Is that because the air conditioning?
And I said, well, have you been to the website? We need to go to the website, although I went to the website and I don't see anything. So I'm wondering if there isn't, we couldn't put a specific thing comes to come up what businesses should do.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
from what she was saying is I think they all think there's gonna be a sound. And that
That's the last thing we've had.
and they're all gonna think that's it, because I don't know.
A lot of people don't.
And she's local. I know 3 of the places are now own California, so it would be a matter of talking to their staff, because those owners aren't there. But Bridget's an owner, and then the person down here's, I mean, I don't know, but it just felt like, so then I asked her, so do you guys all ever get together? She goes, no. I went, would you want to? She goes, man. But so I was just trying to feel out like how would we do that? But what I came away with, for the notes, Gina, what I came away with was, we need to let our businesses know what they need to do.
Absolutely.
And I think that would go right along with, because then I looked at that evacuation plan that we're not supposed to obviously be looking at, but it clearly states in there that there needs to be something done like that.
So Deb, if we all realize that's a good idea, should a letter be addressed to the businesses, the restaurants, anything along
See,
here?
I think if it was on the website and they were directed
Yeah,
to
but
go there,
people don't look at the website.
but owners might. Because if we put a letter, we're gonna put the letter on the website anyway. I hear what you're saying, no, I see what you're saying, go door to
If you
door.
have something in the hand.
Perfect, I'm in, we can do that too,
Yeah.
but that, whatever that thing is
Yeah.
on the website. And then
Yeah.
there's
Yeah, ties into it.
and then it
Well,
just
why don't
tags
you do
into it.
both?
And then we do both, I think
Yeah.
the tag tags.
But if we, and I know that Kim was gonna talk to, Laura with Degami about getting one map, because right now we have 2 maps, the north side and the south side of town, but she's gonna try to get one. So that's something, that I'd like to ask Kim, and she had a chance.
The maps are actually on the
do that.
website, actually. I mean, the map, that your feedback map.
I'm talking about one to give,
So that they have something to put
A
on.
hard
their
copy
doors.
because they may not have access to it.
Right, to have something like hotel staff, like supposed to be.
Yeah.
And even if it's as simple as, basically saying, you're going to shake, not hear,
Right,
and then walk, don't drive.
that's right,
That's
that's exactly,
a
that's
real
huge.
important thing.
That's
Walk, don't
don't
drive,
drive.
and bring your customers up who
Bring your
don't know
customers with
the area.
Now, how cool would it be if they also took a go bag with them?
Yeah.
That had water and bars in it as they're
Yeah.
walking out with their 4 customers. And they're headed up to Collins, that they at
So-
least have something in their hands.
so Deb, you're the resident, author, would you like to come up with a little?
I can work on it.
Okay,
I can work on it, but I just wanted to be sure, because I can't do anything that's not required. So we all agree that maybe putting something together that then we would have posted, and then would be a specific heading, merchants preparedness, and then it could be commercial or business, or it would be, because right now there's there's the calendar, I'm trying to picture, because I looked at it in quarter to one today to be sure this is up to date as I could be. There's a thing that says the 12-month calendar, there's a thing that says emergency, but it could just be another icon there. Gina, am I clear? Do you know
Are
what I'm
you wanting
talking
that for the website?
Yeah, on the website. Don't you see that then businesses would know, commercial people would know, and then that would be one more thing that I could be using as I'm trying to get Walmart just
So I think-
mitigate the dead floaters that we're gonna have.
So once we're to this point, we have the letter, we have the map, I think depending on our schedule, we can get together and
Yeah.
Karen and I can take a shift.
Sure.
What have you, we can just go and just get it done like in a couple of hours and just,
And the thing's gonna be, yes, absolutely, because we're gonna wanna, absolutely whoever's working for sure, my guess is, it's not always gonna be owners that we wanna make
It's
sure
not,
we
no
talk to.
owners. The only owners down there are Wade Marcus, been down there once in a while. Clay owns the leather shop now.
Okay.
And, yeah.
well, I think the thing we can do is like, Are you the owner? No, I'm not. Judy Smith. Where's
Right, give me your card, give me your
And then
card.
Debbie, here's your stuff, but we want to send the same stuff to
Yeah, yeah,
Judy
yeah.
Smith. You know, in that way. Did you have some thoughts from?
Yeah, we haven't heard from you.
I just have a question. Do the businesses have to pay like a license every year?
Yeah.
So then when the license goes out, a reminder to check the website,
Ooh,
stay up to
ooh,
date, because
ooh,
we
has
just
to be
were
every
having
year.
new things added after we do it initially.
Right, right.
1 year reminder.
Yeah, yeah, nice, nice. And then it can be, part of the thing would be how to have a, because we would suggest that they have a drill with their employees on occasion. To do, you know, how to, who to call, who's your, and then part of that would also be, so there goes the radios again. How they're, so if they have their phones, as long as Phil's up, then who they would be calling there, they would be numbers, so their Everbridge would be their go-to.
Well, and they could go up to wherever the, assembly
Right.
area is, and they'll be.
Right, well, Bridget's got 2 properties, so she knows, 2 companies, so she knows that one of her routes, so she did this.
I'm impressed that
She knew
had
one
thought
route
that.
was Collins,
Good.
and then the other store she's got is down here, she knew the other route was Logan. She knew her 2 routes. Which
That's an
was,
exception.
which was, well, but I don't know, but she was waiting for the chimes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so would be interesting is that they go through the shake and they all don't do anything, that was the scary part. That was the scary part.
Yeah, what do I do now? Wait for the chimes?
Right.
You know, I just had something fall on my head. I wait for
Right.
the chimes.
Well, we
you
have
know.
to wait for the chimes,
Well, you'll hear 'em
maybe it's
yourself.
nothing we need to worry about.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't leave in here, you know, when
Well,
Johnny's
it's-
made it very clear.
Well, it's like paradise in the fire, it's like behind in the fire. It's like, you know, if you have a hurricane, you can see it coming.
Yeah.
So like, well, you know, I guess I won't do anything, you know, I think that's.
So the only reason why I was like got into this, because I've got WorldMark on my mind, because I'm really feeling dashed a little bit that they're, you know, when we were in front of them, Karen, it felt like we were riding the wave, and now, you know, you definitely have to be greasing these wheels. And so it was just part of that. Well, so what would you guys do? So realizing that it's kind of a thing we need to do with businesses in general, I think.
Yeah,
I agree
I
with you.
totally agree.
Well, thank you, Deb, so let's.
No worries,
let's
okay,
just-
great, all right.
Can I?
Yeah.
I don't know if I wanna open this can of worms today,
Oh,
but
why not?
Go for it.
in light of the movement away from us to be looking at the evacuation plan
Mhm,
and all that stuff, I am now not at all clear what we have authority to do
mhm.
and what we're being
Right.
asked to do.
Well,
Because
for
it
this-
seems as though doing what you're talking about seems like has to come from somebody else now. So I honestly am like, what can we do?
I think the thing to do would be to, Kim's gonna look at the notes, and if there's a concern, she would contact us.
Okay.
Contact me. I think we need to go ahead, because we as a committee think it's a good idea. We don't know, I don't know that we would have to go to city council on this, because we did, you know, we can mention it to them. We just need to get Kim to let us know if we should work on this. I can imagine it was Kim.
So in that
I
same,
don't know for sure.
I hear what you're saying,
I do too, I do too.
On the website, Gina, is a 2013 multi-page document that is not factual in many areas because of the age of it.
Because of
The
the-
chimes is one of them.
Because of the what?
How
Age.
it was written in
Documents.
2013, and so none of those
What's the
things.
title of the document? Is it on, under?
It's on the web,
Preparedness?
it's on
It's the original city plan.
and it's on the website, it's
Developed
posted,
years ago.
and it's
It's
not
under
accurate.
emergency preparedness?
It's so generic, it doesn't name much in specific.
If you're, if
If you can pull up the site, I can show you where it is, can you do that on your computer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, I went in looking for stuff about the barrel program to be sure I wasn't missing it.
So,
Again, I'm still just, I don't know honestly what we have authority to do or are
Well,
asked
like
to
for
do at this
instance,
point.
Or
like for
No, it's right
instance,
here.
with our
This
caches,
is apparently
buying supplies of cash, the barrel program, all of this was discussed in city council's meetings when I was on the city council.
I update the website.
What I'm doing now is coming, and if I have a report,
Alright,
I'm talking to city council, and I think at that point,
now
sadly,
sadly,
this started,
is
we don't like that idea.
Get it.
I think that's when it would come up. You agree, Kathy?
Now you're actually gonna get into city documents.
So
So
you're
here's
still
that area
puzzled.
was saying.
I'm puzzled because everything we're doing falls under that document.
I know,
Everything we're doing, the Cashmans, all of it falls under that, and now Kimberly has been indicating that we're no longer under that purview to have the authority to do that because it's a philosophical approach to the, to the document, and it's gotta be approved through city council. So I'm like, why can we do that and not something else?
I think.
I don't know if the one that's currently being discussed is,
Yeah,
is the
no.
one that we're gonna replace
I
this
have
with.
no idea. I
County.
have no idea, but that's
I
how
assume so.
this is clearly,
Thing
I
was
spent
bigger
time,
than what we were, I wish Kim was here to
and
explain.
grocery,
You're talking about
that's when I ran into that, that's
plan
one place where it talks about
part
the
that's away from us, but we can continue doing everything else.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, not the whole document from you above.
But,
Yes, I did my homework. I learned how to work the site. I spent time in there.
so Kathy, can you, help Randy?
Yeah.
Understand what he's concerned about?
I'm not understanding it myself.
Okay.
I thought we had a clear understanding that we were gonna review it and then suggestions would go to city council.
I thought that was why this
Yeah.
organization,
Yeah.
this task group, this
Yeah.
actual committee of the
Yeah.
city council that I swore to as
That's
a
called
member
the emergency
officially
preparedness committee.
was to, at the very least, be the guiding force,
Advisory. Yeah.
yeah, which would advise, especially big
And
decisions
there's
and such.
absolutely no one on that council who's gonna read the whole thing and understand it as well as we do.
Well, the thing that concerns me is if it goes to city council, who's gonna be in charge of it?
That's what I mean.
Because
Moving away.
it's not our authority, we're not gonna be in charge of it. So, Judy, just Kim will review these notes and
That's great.
we just need more direction about what, if anything, we need to do at this point.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
I honestly.
I'm assuming, but I don't know for certain, but the document that you're referring to that's got the 2013 date on it, I'm assuming that will be replaced with the
Yeah.
document that we're talking about now. So,
But nobody's approved it,
what's
so
that? Which
it
is why,
can't go up there right now.
which is why it's not on the website.
Yeah.
So nothing can go on the website and be updated until it's approved in
That's
writing.
fine.
So-
It actually isn't, right, and it, but parts of it would, but the whole document.
Okay, all right, so anyway,
That's
We
what
all
a
agree
workshop
we're
would be, a
confused.
task force would be.
yeah,
But who
So,
would do
you know,
that?
if
So
we
that's
can-
what they-
if we can get together
Because it won't
and
hit
with,
them.
I'm sorry, Randy, what was
No,
that?
go ahead.
It's still back to that question, but who is gonna do that? And
Well-
by who, I don't necessarily mean an individual as much as, is it, are we part of three parts that could be the who?
Well, I think that we just need direction from Kim. I'm very much in favor of having a workshop with the city council and this committee. We can give our recommendations and just let Kim address it and direct us how we need to be directed.
Sure.
And at this point, is that kind of, we were not sure. Okay, thank you, Deb, I appreciate that.
Sure.
When was this
Last year ago, Mike,
committee,
this committee?
yeah,
Oh, we've been in existence 4.5 years now.
4.5 years, so at the time, I guess what I might need to do is figure out if I could see if there was some original
Would you get?
vision or document that was part of the
We have an
establishment.
ordinance establishing a committee that was all.
And it's on the
Okay, so that's maybe where I need to go.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
Yeah, the committee's definitely been evolving.
Yeah.
Yeah, and which is good, I just,
Would you pass these? Please. The committee's just been evolving, we're figuring it out as we go, just to see what's best. What I have here is a list of stuff that Valerie gave us. I have like, I think 7 big totes in my garage. And there were some totes here that had tools in them. And some of the tools, I didn't see them when I looked at them. So you think, well, why Joyce did you pick these things out? Well, I sort of did, but there's some things that are not on the list because I don't know what happened to them. My question is, do you see, there's some things on here I can see that we should put in our caches. So if you wanna look at this and let me know what you think we should keep and not keep. Like, do we need the saws? Do we need flashlights for sure? And I think there's scrub brushes. I have no idea why we would need that. I would think maybe a crescent wrench, because that would be good to turn off somebody's water heater. Box cutters maybe, pliers. I don't know that we would need measuring tape. We would need hammers. Duct tape for sure, scissors. And she gave us some frying pans and some cooking utensils, which I think we can use. None of it had lids. But when we're supplying our cash, I think it's a good thing to have that. And the radio, it's a radio. It's not, you need
So this
electricity for it. Can openers for sure. I don't think we need hole punchers. I don't think we would need heaters. Solar calculators, maybe, I don't know. Swiss Army knife, box cutters, screwdrivers. I think anything that's a tool we could. X-Acto knife maybe, and then we got a lot of like office supplies, and I don't think we really need office supplies.
Yeah, we do, because
Yeah.
if you take something from somebody's house, you need to
Well,
document
yeah,
it
but
to
look at this,
reimburse.
look at the supplies. I mean, I agree with you, but some of the stuff, I don't think that, well, you know, like labels.
Hey Kim, what is going on? I've got my assistant emailing me that everybody's upset, don't understand why the emergency operations plan is an old document that is really, really old, that has nothing to do with us. The evacuation plan, I explained to Joyce and Kathy why it's not appropriate for this group to do it, because it's a policy decision by the council, and I tried to explain it at the last meeting, but it didn't work out. So I thought about it, did some research on it, it hasn't even been adopted by the council.
Okay.
Guys can't discuss something that hasn't been adopted. Now, let me rephrase that. You can discuss stuff, but nothing can happen till the council adopts it.
Okay.
Exactly. It's as simple as that. So I'm not sure where things run off the rail, but I'm real concerned that
Well, I
my
don't, I wouldn't say.
member is
I wouldn't say.
kind of getting beat up in here.
Yeah.
We're just confused.
Okay, so what can I help you with?
Well, we thought that we would have a workshop to talk about it, to make a recommendation.
I explained to you, Joyce, in
I
an email.
know, and that's why
Okay.
I explained it to the
Okay.
committee. Uh-huh.
Okay,
Then
thank you.
it's a city council
Yes.
decision. We can assist any way that we want to.
You guys can discuss it
Yeah.
at will. I can't stop you from doing that, but there's no recommendations to be made until the council has decided whether or not they want to do
I think we
any of
understand
the
that.
plan, all of the plan. They may go, we don't want to disagree with any of this at all.
Yeah.
Or they may say, we wanna do all this, and let's have the emergency preparedness committee work on this and this. You guys have so many other things on your plates right now.
Mhm.
The last thing you need to do is try to tackle that big old evacuation plan.
Mhm.
We still don't have cash protocol set. We still don't have instructions for what happens when there's an emergency and somebody needs to get into those things. You're talking about an evacuation plan,
Mhm.
you've got a lot on your plate. The idea is you really should finish some stuff first
Okay.
before you move on to something big.
Okay.
And you got a lot of great ideas and a lot of things you're doing. So I think everything you're doing is great, it's just got a lot of balls in the air.
Mhm.
But the bottom line is after I did a lot of thinking about it, we're doing the same, just so you know. This thing, we're doing the same, the county's doing the same thing for the National Hazard Mitigation Plan. Depoe Bay has an addenda, has had this addenda to this plan since 2020. It's on the website, you're welcome to check it out. Same thing, whatever the county comes up with, doesn't mean the city has to follow. We get to make our own decisions.
That makes sense.
And that hasn't happened.
Yeah.
The council, and I had indicated to them that council really needs to have a meeting, which 2 councilors have indicated an interest in doing so. The councilors have to decide, hey, we wanna do this. Those are pretty, whatever those are.
Okay.
Those are pretty, I just keep looking at them and they're like really pretty. Are they in Marion?
I'll come by, I gave it to Deb, she came by my
What
house.
are they?
The rhododendrons.
That's my, I should have known that, that's like my favorite type of rhododendron, the whole
Terrible.
Kim,
The
I've
color is
got
amazing.
I've got a bush, and I cut these from the back, so come and get some.
Dang, girl.
So I wouldn't say we're upset, but,
Confused.
confused because we thought we had direction, and then you explained that, no, that's the wrong direction. And I'm telling them that it's the wrong direction, and I think that.
Maybe we
we're
should have
also-
printed the email, that might have helped you.
I'm sorry.
Should have printed the email I sent and maybe given it to you guys.
Okay.
So how does it get on the city council agenda to discuss it?
That, we have to put it on there.
Who's we?
Me, Kathy,
Okay, so there can't be a recommendation from this committee that it gets on the,
it has to, it can be, I can put it up there to find out what the council wanna do, what do they want the next step to be. We're right in the middle of budget season right now. That's occupied, that's why I'm not here.
Mhm.
Because I'm trying to we have a meeting on Wednesday, so right now, it's probably not gonna get on the agenda until after the budget is adopted. But if you want, I can go in and make a note, actually, Jean can send me a note, to put it on the first council meeting in July.
That sounds
And
good.
let them decide what they wanna do with it. Maybe they wanna have a work session with y'all and decide whether or not this makes sense.
see, and I think that would be
That's a
great.
very doable suggestion for them, but they have to decide first what they're gonna do with it.
Okay.
And so they can say, yeah, we wanna go with this, and let's have a work session, or they can say, well, cause I know one, in the February meeting, Fran, I listened to the recording again, and said, I have some concerns. So,
Yeah.
they have to have an opportunity to express
Mhm.
themselves.
So I don't think we were upset, Kim, we're just confused, is all. I didn't think about printing the email because I'm so worried about, printing, talking, doing
I
things
know.
that,
The public
maybe
meetings
I
all
should
got
have
everybody
done.
freaked out, but I didn't think about it either until just now. Because I thought my email did okay, explaining why I thought this was a council thing, and it would have helped you guys, and it would have maybe explained better if I simply remembered and printed it and then handed it out.
well, exactly, because
So I apologize for that.
It felt like, because many of us attended those meetings, so and the council did not, so it felt like, I guess I felt like we were already in the mix of it.
Well, I can see where that could have come from.
Because we attended the meetings representing the city, actually. Do you remember when we took roll call and we all were sitting there and they
Well,
said?
everybody was sitting here, but you weren't representing the city, you were a focus group, if you will.
Right, but we had to identify why we were here, so I
And
was
that was for
identifying.
them,
Right, and that was for them.
them,
That's
so they knew
exactly
who y'all were.
right.
And they were real happy, they loved the fact that there was such an engaged.
So many people here that with different
Yeah.
aspects, right?
So that was different, but I
So,
can see why you were confused.
so it felt
I'm not
like,
gonna phrase that,
yeah,
I didn't say that.
no, I could easily.
I'm gonna say that, I mean, confused, why, I could see where the disconnect is.
Right, and so it just felt like we were waiting for that report to come. And then, like, I was like pursuing with Clarissa, like with emails. So Clarissa, where's the report? Then in December, and she was communicating with me. And in December, she said, Kim has it. And then that's when I communicated with you, so you've got the report. You said, yes, I need to be able to release it. And then when you were able to release it to us, that's when, and then I guess that's why I thought we were already in the mix.
We were just not on the same wavelength.
Okay.
Just 2 points of clarity real quick. I interpreted Deb's questions
Right.
about the City of Depot Bay's website and the document that's on there that's currently outdated technically,
Right.
2013. I
Right.
interpreted that from you as you seeing that as a bit of a problem.
Yeah,
And
it
I
concerns me.
attempted to surmise or whatever, that if I was looking at that document, I would assume that there would be another document shortly to replace it that's also being
Right.
talked about right now. So I'm
Right.
sure that will be updated as soon as it's approved.
Right.
Another point of clarity is, Colors was confused, and I can send him the ordinance that outlines the goals of the committee. He's unsure about the authority of the committee and his role in it.
You guys have no authority.
That's what I'm trying to say.
You not understand that? All these committees and commissions, the only one that actually has 2 people, commissions have authority, somewhat, but their authority is limited as well, and I don't mean to slam you. But the honest opinion is you don't have authority to act on your own. if your goals, the council has said, we love your goals, we agree with them, you will work within your goals, but when it comes to spending money, you have to get permission.
And that
When
part
it
I
comes to
understand.
adopting and setting policy, you have to get
understand the money
permission.
That part I understand.
yeah.
But I'm feeling like that is too broad of a statement. So we have no authority to bring something to the council? We have no authority
No,
to
you
tell them we
absolutely
will-
do.
Well, see, that's what, when you're using that language, we have no
Let
authority.
me rephrase that. You have no authority to act independently. You cannot set policy.
Okay.
You cannot spend money unless it's already been approved by the budget. And you really, there's some folks, as Kathy well knows, would rather not have any money spent on their own authority, but that's the type of stuff.
Right, I understand.
So
And I appreciate how you protect us with those comments, I
that's my
absolutely-
job, is to try to protect the.
Right, I
To try
understand.
to, it's not to try to stifle you as much as it is to try to keep us out of
I
trouble.
understand, I understand.
We've already got enough going on in this city
So
right
we
now.
kind of got, and since you came in, we were discussing earlier that, and this is when we were like, well, can we even move forward on this? That we've identified that the businesses need to be updated sooner than later, that there's no chimes and that they're what they would do.
Mhm.
And so what we came up with, but then we were concerned, can we even do that, is we were gonna write up something that we would want to possibly have posted on the website and a letter we would walk door to door. That kind of thing, we need to get permission from the council.
You can actually do that, and you can work with me to do that.
Okay,
So the council well knows that the siren does not exist anymore.
right,
So we have just been remiss in letting.
So we
you
can
know
move
that.
forward
So if you
on
wanna
that.
write something up
Right.
and send it to me,
yeah.
and what I would do is I would say, I would provide it to the council and say, hey, council, we need to get this message out because we haven't.
Yeah.
So we need to get it out, local emergency preparedness
Okay,
has
so
written
we
this
can move
up.
forward on that.
So there's a lot you guys can do with that as
Gotcha.
far as,
Information.
in fact, the more information you help put together is the better. But it's just, you gotta make sure that you're not making decisions that impact the entire city that could be considered
No,
policy.
Got
Without either me being involved in some way, cause I know where my limits are of my authority, and I know when I have to go, I can't make all these decisions by myself, I often have to go to the council to get help, because I don't get to do all that myself, that's why we have a council, that's why we elect these lovely ladies and
And it's
gentlemen.
good to keep council apprised.
Absolutely, because then they're not caught off guard when one of their constituents says, did you know?
Yeah.
And the answer for the council should never be, no, not if it's something that I am supposed to have told them. So, that's why, I know it probably drives everybody crazy, I recognize I probably drive everybody crazy, but that's why my finger's in everything.
Yeah.
Because it has to be, because they expect me to.
So as far as the plan, we're just going to ignore it till you tell us what we need to do.
So it might.
No, with that, we all just agreed, everybody said, you were all in favor of me waiting till after the budget season.
Yeah.
Gina's gonna write me a note to put on the July first, July 3rd meeting, anyways, I think it is actually July first, meeting to talk to the council about what they wanna do next. Okay?
I was just confused whether we were talking about the entire document or if we were talking about just the tsunami piece. That's
You
where
would
my
only
confusion
talk
was.
about the Depot Day addendum.
But I mean, what was taken away?
Oh, well, I don't really like that plan 100% anyway, I think there's a lot of aspirational things in there that we're never gonna get to. That was a lot of time and money, and that includes the things they want Sam to do. Told Sam, I said, are you kidding me? This all sounds good, but you have 2 people.
And Kim, you were really good about when that came out. And I came to you and I went, are you kidding me? Like, this is millions, hundreds of millions of dollars.
I know, and
And you
time.
were so good about bringing me off the wall, saying this was a consult thing. This is what they put together, this would be pie in the sky, it's just a framework for us to, and that was,
Yeah.
but then it does say, and the city should do, and the city, whenever
I
that,
know.
and whenever that came up, then that's what made me feel like we need to be more timely with this, because
Now
the city should
remember,
be doing this, yes.
Should, not will,
Yeah, yeah.
or shall,
Yeah,
or must.
gotcha, okay. But
They
yeah,
decide all that.
yeah,
Clarify for Deb as well, she had a question earlier, which I couldn't answer, but I tried. the leadership structure at the city for setting policy and how the committee fits into making recommendations with that. I did bring up Brady meeting with the plan. So what it does say in the plan, the evacuation plan.
Oh, that totally, the part,
So
okay.
Brady and Paul and you and council would be the ones making decisions about any change in policy, about creating any kind of evacuation plan, using that document as reference.
Right, so the way this works is that the council can't set, they can go ahead and decide how the city should respond to an emergency, but they shouldn't. They can decide how they want me and Brady to respond, they can decide their role, that's their job. Now, what you hope they do is they take advice and recommendations from their committees and commissions and their staff as to the way this could go, but the ultimate authority to make those decisions is vested in the council.
Okay.
They can listen to what we say or not, and that's the beauty of the council. You do not have to listen to what any of us say. Believe me, they don't always listen to me. And it drives me crazy, but that is okay, because they don't have to.
Okay.
So,
One question, Kim, I know you're busy.
does that help with
Yeah,
whatever
it
was
really does.
clarifying
Yes,
that you
thank you.
needed? Okay.
One thing just to ask you before you go back, you're gonna talk about the Spire grant opportunity?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, I did want to talk about that. So the Spire grant just opened and it closes on June 1st, and I've already spoken to our grant writers about that. Thank you, because I really should talk to you about this. There are some, give me 1 second, would you? Let me get my folder, because I wanted to ask you what you guys had interest in possibly applying.
Okay, so regarding these supplies, from Valerie, I appreciate her doing this, I think, but why don't you just let me make decisions as to what I'm
Just do
doing?
it, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll just,
I just appreciate that you've housed all this in your garage all this time.
No,
So,
these are bins in your garage.
Okay.
Or whatever.
yes, as you were going through the list, I was thinking, well, we want the saws, I think we need the bolt cutter.
Randy, I'll call you,
We need the scrub brushes, how are we
Yeah,
gonna
that's
clean
so-
up
okay.
after our sanitation
Okay,
stuff?
well, why don't I call you
And more, you know,
and you would probably have a much better idea than I would as to what we need, so I'll just. work
And to
with you on
clarify though too, this is not the barrels, this is the cash.
This is
Gonna
cash.
sit here.
Yes.
Yeah.
You start the barrels.
Yeah, because,
Got it.
And I apologize, I'm under very lot of stress right now from this
I know.
budget stuff, so.
and we don't wanna add to it.
Okay, so this fire grant,
Mhm.
the way this kind of works, she's still supposed to find some information out for me, but I think it's kind of weird. It's run by the Oregon Emergency Management Program, opens once a year, and what they do is they have various different types of equipment that you can get. Why don't you pass this around? Yeah, generators, all kinds of things, but pass that around. That is just a sample of, look at what's the column that shows, does it show item or description?
Nope, right,
Up
yes,
top.
in the middle, yes.
Yes, look at the kinds of things that other cities have used. What this does is that you tell them, we need to be able to have this item. They get it, we get to store it here. Now granted, from what I hear, they don't move real fast. So depending on what the equipment is, you may get it in a year, may be a couple years. If you go to the website, you'll find out a lot of these places still don't have their equipment. But, it might be worth it, you might be asking them for something they don't get very often, they don't have their equipment. So you get it, and it's like, the mobile sat that Sam has, the mobile satellite system.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where they got theirs. It means they're supposed to be able to make it available if it's needed. Other organizations could use it. So let's say we got, let's say Cat, Solomon, we got one. Let's say somebody like maybe the tribe needed one. We were the only ones that had one, and we weren't middle using it. Could we, through an interagency agreement, loan it out to them basically? And that's kind of how that's the kind of shared resources. But that doesn't necessarily need to work that way, but that's kind of what I'm getting, which is why I kind of think it's weird. But she's supposed to be getting some more information for me. So the things that I found in this list of equipment that I thought were possible interest of ours is they have something called a compact rapid deployable.
Could y'all check that off? Since you have the list.
Oh, okay.
It's not on there, that's just a
Oh.
list, you guys, it's just a sample of other cities
Whatever
who've
they're
gotten
cities
lots of.
about.
Okay, so it's called compact what, please?
It's called a compact rapid deployable. It's a portable solution that provides temporary cellular and high-speed internet connectivity.
Oh.
I'll pass it around. It's got all kinds of stuff on it, and you can get it through, they can get it through a statewide price agreement, and,
How's it powered?
Huh?
How's it powered? I'm asking your question.
you guys run through that.
So this is,
Nothing is hydrogen powered.
so this is different than the cow?
It's similar. I think that one feels like it's more of an inclusive package. And it really depends, and that reminds me, here's another one of those. Here's a couple of those. Nope, never mind, that's not that. Something different. And it's on my computer. That was something I was researching. Oh, I had something more creative. The other thing is that we're always talking about traffic message board, a trailer mounted traffic message board. So that is just like a, something we put up, like you've seen at other places, big signs in Newport has one, they roll that occasionally. I wanna get one anyway, but, we could throw this as part of a Spire grant, heck, what the heck, why not? This other one is a big one. It's for fuel transportation.
What is it? I'm sorry.
Fuel transportation. That was a big one for the guys last year. So during the emergency, how were they hauling fuel? 5-gallon or bigger tanks in the back of their truck, hauling them around and having to fill up generators that way. That takes a lot of time when you're doing that small scale. So one of the things the guy asked for was this, so the city will apply for this anyway. It's a fuel transportation, dual fuel trailer mounted tank.
Dual what, please?
Trailer mounted tank. So it's a 2 300-gallon, a 500-gallon, or 1,000-gallon fuel tankers. So the idea is that they have two of them. They can either be towed behind one of our trucks, or the guys have indicated they would be willing to give up at least one truck to house the tank on the back of it.
Did you
With a
start
voice.
this conversation saying that we share it with another, what did you?
Well, and that's what I'm trying to find out,
Yeah.
because it seems like like Sam has said, if we want to test out that cell on wheels or that satellite, whatever she's calling it, we can. That would basically her loaning it out to the city for us to pick up. And I think this works sort of the same way, but it's only gonna be in the event of an emergency. Like Sam would let us use it to test, but we would not, but I have not seen what the agreement looks like. So our grant writers are trying to help me put something together. They are going to find out more information for me on how this thing works, because I said, it doesn't make any sense, but obviously, given the amount of equipment that places have within Oregon, it's actually a pretty popular program. What's unique is the coast doesn't have a lot of it.
Oh.
Yeah, so, we're in trouble on the coast if because we can't, they got all that fun equipment over there, but we don't.
And it can't get here, that's the thing, it's not like,
So.
it's not like it can be moved to us.
Right.
easily.
Even if it's on trailers, we've gotta go a lot of forest roads and highways, so it's just not gonna be able to get to it. So, there is a generator, I think, on it. So there are just options of getting generators.
Yeah,
I hate to tell you, I saw nothing on there regarding hydrogen or any kind of clean fuel, just so you know. They have an unmanned aerial vehicle with thermal imaging. I'm looking at Kathy for that. Drone! Oh. Hydraulic rescue complement, a cutter, spreader, telescopic rams, mostly by air, emergency rescue. You get a utility terrain vehicle. You get high axle rescue water evacuation vehicle. None of us have a 40 or ability to drive that. I'm not even playing it. Brady might be able to because he has a boat. And Al has a boat.
I have a vote.
There you go. A snowcat, a mini CRD, so I told you about the compact, but they have even a mini compact CRD. A communications, this is communications unit leader, so if we're talking about, it's a kit for communication leaders that includes information and materials needed for response to emerging incident involving multiple agencies, includes critical items such as a small cache of radios and all public safety radio bands, a tactical radio getaway device to connect and fax similar radios, interface cables, set of hand tools, power source, and other equipment needed within the first 48 hours of an incident. You guys have already kind of taken care of that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think because we're not big, and we're, I think
We've already got a lot of that
I think
covered.
we've got it covered.
One of the things they have in here is they have this resilient incident connectivity kit. It provides high-speed internet connectivity via a variety of means, including satellite and cellular networks.
Like
That is.
See, I think that
Because
considering
whenever
we're
you're
island-
satellite.
Yeah, see, I think that, see, stuff like, because we're isolated, so
Right.
anything that would help us with our isolation, I think is.
That's that CRD.
And they have the big one and the mini one. They have a, solar hybrid charging station.
Oh, I like that.
They have a mobile site on wheels, mobile rapidly deploying tower systems. Again, we're talking about antennas, cameras, et cetera, et cetera. So there's like a whole wide array, portable lighting. We're talking about needing to,
That would be cool.
trailer mounted lighting systems used to enhance safety during emergencies or power outages, so they have that. You know, that might have been good to have one of those down at the
Yeah.
warming shelter.
Yeah.
And then generators, so yes, medium and large trailer mounted. So, my deadline is the June second, sorry. Unless you guys wanna have another meeting just to look at these, I mean,
I think we can go by your judgment.
I was gonna say, I have a pretty good idea of what you all have been talking about that you
I
could
think,
use.
yeah, be
I don't know if
isolated
there's a
and
limit.
communication.
Yeah, those three that you mentioned,
Yeah, I think,
specifically the CRD and the portable sign and the fuel trailer.
absolutely, I think those are absolutely, that's like that, yeah, because I can see the grant, our grant writers, that there's a theme to that.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? It's not like we're like, boom, 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 it's
Picking
like,
everything, cause it's.
yeah, look at all of this, it's much more like, okay, so they recognize how isolated they're gonna be, and the state of Oregon has made it really clear how isolated we're gonna be. And so, everything times two is what they, I'm hearing from the OEM is this.
Yes.
Okay, so on that theme, have them, we're up, because of our isolation, then anything like what you just said, then would be possibly,
That would
maybe we
probably
would
be
get that.
a good selling point.
Yeah.
My next thing is that, and I know that because this woman is on the emergency preparedness committee, that of course I could get it from this woman too. I need some support letters.
Oh,
And one of them I'll need is from an HOA. I
Oh,
can't do them all, so if somebody wants to put one together.
Yeah.
And after the email that you're about to see from the parks, the three of us may no longer be on the board, so, where do you see it?
Okay, so when you say so, because otherwise I'm sending you
Have
an
a view
email.
of the day, send a letter of support, so I know your board for us
Who
to
do we
apply
send it
for.
to?
Sorry, my hearing aids aren't, so you need a support letter that's specifically
That
what?
says that you're in support of the city applying for Aspire grant for, you can leave it open and.
And then I'll leave a blank in
It
those
helps
places
with
and you can.
Yeah, you know, like you said, it helps with the communication and stuff like that. Another little will, so we got 3 HOAs represented here, but she said only get one letter.
Okay, I got it, I'm in.
And then I need to try to see if we can get something from the drive.
Oh,
And then,
it's okay if I get, I'll write it for my.
And then something else,
Yeah,
but,
She just said.
I should just-
yeah, I asked, I said, can we get one from all the HOAs? She said, they don't really want duplicates,
Oh,
so
no
just
worries.
get one letter.
No worries.
Okay.
So Deb's gonna do it.
So that's something.
Okay, good.
And then, other ones, I mean, there's other ways, I have the list in there.
Do you want this back, the?
So anyway, so there's some, and then I'll have more details for you. I mean, if it comes, push comes to shove and they say, oh, you have to agree to loan it out on any particular purpose, whatever, but if it's like for emergencies, it's not being used, I'll get the requirements around that. I mean, it's a grant I've been watching, but we keep missing it, and then finally I got the announcement, I was like, oh my God, I gotta ask about this, because we know we had toys we won, so.
Sounds good.
Well, I knew about last week.
Still.
So I've already been working on it.
Thank
I
you.
just wanted to know what you guys thought and what you would like to see, the priorities. I had some ideas based
Sounds
on being here and having discussions, but I didn't know for sure.
Cool.
What you would be
Thanks, Kim.
behind,
Appreciate
so I
it.
wanted to make sure.
Okay.
Okay?
Can I stop in after this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, are you sure you don't need anything else? Cause I'm almost ready with my urban renewal budget.
I'm gonna cut some of these and I'm gonna bring them to your porch, okay?
Hey, by the way, did Joe hand you my key?
No.
She said,
told me
so
she couldn't find
She thought she
it.
lost it, and then she found it. She gave me a card with $5 in it. I'm like, didn't do that. Then 2 days later, she found
I'll get it from her and I'll bring you some
it.
flowers.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we were looking at Valerie's list. Randy and I are gonna get together and decide what we need, and then I'll go ahead and donate the rest of the stuff. I appreciate Valerie doing that. Thank you, Valerie. Okay, so we're now down to number C. This is under old business, the Barrel emergency update. So what I have been finding out, I've talked to a lot of people, mainly talking to people that have the barrels. Who do you know that is your neighbor, like my friend Linda that's at North Point, that can also use one? So I've talked to a lot of her people. People do not have they don't have supplies, they don't have room. And the biggest problem I've been seeing with this program so far is that people don't live here full time. And so those are things, because I'm talking to a lot of different people. Well, I'm not supplied, or I'm not this, I'm not that. They just don't think about it. So those are the struggles that I have. We have 5 barrels out and we have 5 to be given out. But I'd really like to get them to people other than this committee if we can. If not, we'll just have the committee people to get them out there. So, in fact, someone from Little Hill Cove, I talked to him several times, and he didn't have the room when it came to it, because he asked for measurements and stuff, and so it's just really.
So I'm willing to, being aware that Kim she's got a lot of her plate with the budget thing, but I'll put together an email to her because this would be another one of those things that we could have on the website. The only people that know about this is because they happen to come to that meeting.
I know.
And they happen to know us. And so I believe if we get that on the website, we're gonna start getting more people that are out of the.
Well, I do too, but I don't want to put anything else on his plate right now.
Exactly, but so what I'm gonna put on email to her that I know that she makes the flyers. I'll put something together that then she can tweak when she's got the time.
Okay.
But I think as soon as we get it on, because it's not on the website now. And so I would like to get a thing about the emergency barrel on there, and I'll take on board with Kim and try and work around her, because I know how busy she is right now.
That's right, I just don't want,
I won't, right.
But I agree with you. I think once people know,
When it's on
they should, because I've talked to different people about, I didn't know anything about it, I don't have room, or supplies, what do you mean supplies, so it's just
Do we want to say we only have 5 left so they don't sit back and wait to apply?
well, we could, but then we want to, I'd like to have more than 10 out there.
Yeah, the whole point is to get, right, I see them as chess, I've said this before, I see these as chess pieces. And we know about our 5 islands, and we'd love to distribute them equally among the islands. Until we have something in every island, I say we get them out, so at least they're available in case of an event. Even though the volcano 300 miles out isn't supposed to cause a tsunami, which thumbs up to that. There is something in the works, so to have them out would be good. And then if anybody applies, we can always move them around, they
Yeah,
are
true.
mobile. And so that's the beauty of them, and so they're chess pieces, and we keep them active, and we keep them in places where they're needed. And so to have them dispensed at places but again, with the guidelines, because that day that we were talking about the barrels early on, and the mayor's face and comments that day made it really clear, this is not somebody's excuse to prepare. It is for those people who prepare, and then they have that second thought, well, I'm prepared, what about all the folks that are gonna be walking up here? And those are the ones that we haven't answered for.
Mhm.
And that's, we just have to be sure we stay true to that.
Do we have anybody in Depoe
No,
that's interested?
No,
No.
Ann has, put it on the
They
newsletter,
haven't understood.
Okay.
and, which I really appreciate.
Yeah,
And-
we've been working with
Yeah,
them
and I
on
talked to
that.
one fellow, I've talked to him maybe 5 times, and for this, he had questions about this. He came to pick up an application, he brought it back, or he was going to bring it back. But when it came down to it, I measured my garbage cans the same size, doesn't have room.
Okay.
You know, so I think, you know, there's just particulars out there that's just making it a lot slower.
Yeah.
But I think Deb is right, once we tell more people, you know, I sit next to Kathy Clement, the last meeting, and I was telling her a little bit about it, and she said, that's a great idea. And she says, I wish that I would know what to put in my supplies.
Oh, come on.
And I said, I was okay,
Really?
mentioned her name. And so we've talked about this a lot, and I do think that we need to put it on the list of things to do, because we heard this in March 22nd. People don't know what to put in their supply list, and I'm bouncing around a little bit. Here, it's kind of interesting, Dennis has been, gathering supplies all his life, with his culture, his religion, that's just what they do. And, he showed me a bucket the other day, he says, I just found this. And so I don't have a date on it, but he thinks it's probably like in the 79 or 80.
Oh.
Where it's the company in Salt Lake City, and he had this whole bucket from a company in Salt Lake City full of medical supplies. And it's wonderful, this company's still in business and stuff
Oh
like
my
that.
gosh.
I would love to be able to have I'm not sure how it would work, really, I've thought a lot about this. Maybe just buy a bunch of supplies, have people come and buy them, if not, for their buckets. And if anything that we have left for our caches. I'm not sure how the best way is, but we need to figure out how to get people to get their own supplies. You know, so there's things that are available, so something that, you know, we can talk about at another meeting, how are we going to do that? Okay,
That's good though, so what I heard you say is that, we're hearing from people that they still don't know, even though the
Yeah.
state and the county
I
have
know.
both provided
I
go
know.
bag lists
I
for
know.
not only your home, but your car.
yes.
And so that's another thing we could like be posting on the website is what should go in your go bag.
But
That would be the thing.
the,
But then you're also saying, what I also hear you saying is maybe people need more than a list, people need the nudge,
I do.
actually.
I do.
That's what you're saying, is that they need to be able to come and shop at an event.
So what Seaside did, and I mentioned this before, Seaside had something on their webpage, site had a QR code that brought up a list.
Mhm.
Somehow they used their credit card and
Wow.
they paid for their stuff. And then they had an event at the fire department. And so like, okay, Ms. Short, here's the list, go get your things. And they had people that would help them get their things. And you have your stack of stuff, it's paid for. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is sort of like, okay, I'm gonna buy 100 flashlights, I'm gonna buy, 45 tent, whatever the numbers would come up with. We have them in a stack. You come, you want this tent, it's gonna be $20. And we have it available. And then, if we run out, we'll just do it another time. We've gained our money back, and if we still have stuff, we put it in the cash. And that's an idea. But I think that people, or they're in denial, they don't think it's going to happen. I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next time. I don't know what to get, whatever the reason is. It's not being done.
It's interesting. Because we all obviously think the same way, because we're sitting here.
I know.
And so it's hard for us to imagine not following through.
Well, and me either, because you've got Dennis
I know.
back in 79
But you know,
that
you're
that
exactly
need to do
right.
it, and so when I filled out my application for a barrel, how much supplies do you have? And Dennis said, about 6 years.
Yeah.
And he's serious. Because he's got sugar, he's got big things of sugar and things of wheat, so like, what are you gonna do, make a little cake out and he's got all this stuff.
That's
you know?
cute, but that's true, there's just so many,
Yeah,
so many ways people come at this, so many ways people come at
I
this.
know, so anyway, that's something to think
It's
about.
interesting, that's,
We can talk about it, I was just very impressed that he had that.
interesting.
So like, why didn't you tell us, Timmy, a couple of years ago, but anyway, so now we have another medical bag.
So can I tag on, because are you finished with the emergency
Yeah,
barrel?
unless you-
Okay, so let me tag on.
Yeah.
So the emergency barrels came with a radio,
Mhm.
and it is a simple,
Yes,
and I know some of us know this already, I'm just getting it
I
in the
know.
minutes because I wasn't supposed to discuss it outside of the meeting. So I'm just saying here at the meeting,
Uh-huh.
that there is a simple two-way radio in these barrels. And so I have cracked it open, I have written a real simple little thing up, because the hosts were interested in knowing what to do, and we heard from more than one host, even though we only interviewed 5, that they would like to have some type of meeting about the
I think
radios.
everyone would,
Want to have a
would.
meeting about the
Yeah.
radios. So if it's okay with you guys, I'm going to finish working on a really quick kind of protocol for the barrel radios to dispense to the hosts. And then I'm trying to coordinate with Michael Dane. I've sent him an email, I haven't heard from him about what that looks like and about what a test would look like, because that feels like that's the person I should talk to in the city. And then coordinate that. So if that's okay with this committee, I'm gonna finish working on that.
I think that's fine,
Yeah.
I think that you will probably have better luck with grading.
Okay, I'll do that, I'll send what I sent to Michael to
Yeah.
Brady, okay?
I do because, I don't know Michael's world.
And it's
what all
as
he's
simple
doing.
as, what I believe what's going to happen
Mhm.
is, these are really simple radios.
Yes.
And I believe what's going to happen is that there will be not great reception. I have the ability to be a hub and put out, I have a stronger radio, I have a Bauphone, so I can do that,
Mhm.
and then I'll use the radio that they have in case they can't. So that my question is whether they'll hear me on this radio. I believe they'll hear me on my Bauphone. And then we'll see what they hear. And then, depending on how that goes, I will bring that back to the committee to talk about what communication and the host. But I really want to make that separate from the barrels. I wanna make it a separate thing. Is that okay with the
Yeah,
committee?
I think so.
Okay, all right.
Because we've given these, this stuff, and so we need to tell them what to do.
What to do, and they are interested, right?
Yeah, they're interested, and I think once we have Brady's training, the more people that get a barrel and get a radio, we can train them ourselves. Come at 2 before our meeting, we'll show you how to do
That's
it.
exactly right. And the radios, I actually have it right here. The radios are really, really simple. Randy's familiar with them. They have a very small range is what the issue is with them. And they do come with rechargeable batteries. And so, but I can tell you that they don't last very long.
Yeah,
because I left it on just as.
Oh,
And on purpose, because I tried it.
okay.
Yeah, no, I did it
Yeah.
intentionally, because I wanted to see what I'm handing them. And so
Perfect. What a
so
great
if,
idea.
so if the idea behind the barrels are they're 3 days, 20 people. So I will tell you that the radios that are in there would be effective possibly for 3 days.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
If we wanna start thinking about communications and the hosts, that would be a different discussion.
Yeah.
And so everybody gets that? Okay, good. Then I'll move forward writing my little simple thing. I'll write
Thank
it
you, I
down.
appreciate it, and I had to actually further down on my agenda, but we're kind of all over the place.
Thanks.
Thank you, Deb. Okay, so cash supplies update. We have, I think, $30,000 left, I believe,
Something like that.
$30,000. And so Kathy and I have gone through, as I think we've mentioned before, we've come up with a list of things that are under that amount that we need to order. So when we order them, I would assume they'll come here, and then I know that I gave you guys kind of a list of dates when you're available to do that. And I'll recreate that once we've ordered them and know when they're coming in. I'd like to do it sooner than later, because I don't wanna be in the bus barn when it's 90 degrees.
Right.
You know, so the sooner the better. I'm looking at these totes, and we can get those from, Amazon. My question is, and they come in a 6-pack for $112, which is pretty good. I'm thinking 24, but is that enough? Is that enough for all the stuff we're getting? Sure, and of course, we can order more totes once we need them. I was
Just put
concerned,
in an initial order
yeah,
and then see how we do.
okay,
Cause I was just down at Fred Meyer, they've got tons of storage things that are on sale right now.
Yeah, they're on sale.
Yeah.
I saw that too.
okay.
Are we, and so we still have body bags as part of that 30,000?
Yes,
Okay, cool.
yeah,
Just wanna make sure
and,
that was still in.
and so I have your letter for when Kathy and I get
Perfect,
together.
just wanna make sure.
Yeah, we'll
Good,
talk about
that's
that.
all I needed to know.
So, we'll have the totes, and then also, I want to do what Hatfield suggested, to have the colored, this has purple on it, it needs this has red on it, it needs that. I think that we should do that.
Yep.
And under new business, I have radio training, but we've already talked about that, the SPIRE grant. And so, when we start ordering supplies, that we know when they're coming in, I'll get together with you to see what your schedules are. And Ken really wants to help, you know, he really does, and I think Autumn wants to help. So there's people that we can get to help with this if they would like to do, we'll extend the offer. Under, number 6, new business, radio training, we talked about the SPIRE grant. Both Karen and I are going to be gone June the 9th, and so the next meeting would be June the 23rd.
Okay.
Are y'all available on that day?
June what?
23rd. It would be the third Monday.
I'm setting up for the Lincoln City Kite
Okay.
Festival,
Okay, how about the,
we're taking that.
okay, how about the second Monday? That would be, I guess, that would be the 14th?
The second Monday's the
16th.
9th.
Oh.
We're looking at June.
Mhm.
It's June 9th is the second
No,
Monday.
I can't do it, so the next Monday,
It's June 16th.
would you be available the 16th?
Yes.
How about you, Tina? Okay.
Yeah.
16, okay. All righty, so we'll just do our next meeting then. And,
3 o'clock.
thank you, Jean, I appreciate that, I was just headed over there to do that.
Good.
Okay, good, thank you. So, we'll do that. And so that's really, guys, all that I have. Randy, we're getting you out of here in time for you to go for your giveaway gifts and everything. It's been a great meeting, thank you. And Randy, I'll get together with you for Valerie's list and I'll donate the rest of the stuff. And once I get the rest of the stuff, I can put all 5 of the barrels in my garage, you know. So, if we need to, so.
Yeah.
All right, so anybody have anything else to say or comment? Okay, meeting adjourned, thank you so much.
Thank you. So Joyce, you and I need to re-inventory barrel 1 at the community center.
How would you like to do that?
That's